Oh, welcome, Pahrump. This is Dr. Reiner and your host of the Independent Doctors of Pahrump. Tonight is a live show. The number should be on that screen, 727-8750, for you to call in and ask your questions, comments, and any general comments you need to make or want to discuss. Anyway, tonight is a very blistery Monday night. The weather has been incorrigible. And for those of you who have COPD and other lung conditions, probably advisable you stay inside with the wind just to reduce your exposure to dust and all the other issues that you may be exposed to. And I'm happy to say that we do have Ray on the phone. Ray.
See you live on TV, Doc. I was out in the wind today, and a question came to mind, and I said, I'm going to ask the doctor today. Does this wind and cold, and if it's raining, does that have any effect on colds or flu? Does it weaken the immune system if you're out there, and maybe you're more prone to catch something afterwards? Because a lot of people think just if you're out there and you get wet, it's raining, and you get cold because of the wind, that you catch a cold or you catch the flu. And I'm just wondering, is there any truth to, or is that old wives' tales as far as that goes?
Well, as a matter of fact, they did a study where they actually put people in a room in a home where they actually opened up the windows. It was kind of damp, it was cool, and I think they actually paid them to sit around in their skinnies or their shorts, so they were kind of exposed. It wasn't they were all bundled up. They were actually very cold and windy and things of that nature, and they did not find that they had an increased incidence of colds and flus in that particular issue. So to dispel that rumor, no. Just because it is cold and windy outside and it does get cold, do we see an increased risk of colds and flus and things of that nature. So you might ask, well, why then is it always in the wintertime that you see more colds and flus? Well, this is because, in my mind, people do experience some type of, and I think this is true with colds and the flu in the kids. This is where I think most of the problems start in the schools, because young kids and young children are their immune systems are developing, so they're being exposed to a lot of the colds and flus that you and I have already been exposed to. And so what that ends up happening is that creates what they call kind of the cesspool syndrome, meaning they're exposed and they get one infection and another infection and they bring it home, and then those are spread to maybe adults who haven't been immunized, and with that comes the increased rhinorrhea or mucus production. They're running their hands and they're touching doorknobs, they're touching other things, and we're inside more. So there's more of a contagion issue in the wintertime months than there would be in the summertime months. And to me, that puts a lot of risk for the colds. Also, the wind patterns and wind currents do actually move some of the virus particles through the air, so you're getting exposed to those things that are being transmitted by weather patterns and things of that nature. So we do tend to stay inside more, and therefore we don't practice good hand washing and things of that nature. And that's how we get a cold or a flu, meaning someone sneezes on us, they aerosolize it. We may be inside. There may be risk of an exposure in that sense, and there's a lot of doorknobs. So, and I don't know if you remember the movie Contagion. And I've talked about it a lot, but there was something very interesting in that movie about touching your face. And so if you touch a doorknob and you rub your nose or you rub your face, there's a pretty decent chance you may actually spread that virus into the nasal area and things of that nature. So, and as far as winter running down your immune system, the only thing I could say about that is vitamin D exposure. Vitamin D is a very good anti-inflammatory, so it's probably we have reduced sun exposure, so that would be one thing that I think people might think about doing is increasing their vitamin D intake during the winter months. It's a good anti-inflammatory in high doses, so it may help you in that respect. Obviously, getting the right amount of rest, staying inside, those things, you know, people may do other things to ruin their immune system, such as, you know, a little more partying in the holiday time. That may have something to do with it, with alcohol and things of that nature. Smoking sometimes can make you more at risk.
Are there different strains of colds? I mean, if I get a cold and I get over the cold, am I like immune to that kind of cold, and maybe I'll just catch a different one, something like the flu, right? Every year they immunize and they say it's different strains. Are colds the same way? If you beat one, does a different cold get you next time out, or is that not?
Well, the rhinovirus or the cold virus actually mutates a lot quicker than the influenza virus. So therefore, you can get several colds if they do change in enough in the pattern of the cell types. So in that respect, yes, you can get one cold or another. You might get a cold that does reduce your immune system, and to the point where you might be more able to get an influenza virus following thereafter, and certainly things of that in that nature, so to say. So yes, I guess if you have one particular illness and you have maybe either diabetes or you have another illness along with that, you are going to basically ruin your immune system or reduce your immune system. We're going to take a quick break. Ray, hold the phone if you can. We'll come back and some very interesting topics, and we'll bleed off of that too. Thank you for tuning in. Hi, I'm Dr. Michael Reiner, your host of the Independent Doctors of Pahrump, a TV show that airs Monday night on Channel 46. I want to remind you that I am a practicing physician in Pahrump, and I'm an independent practitioner, which means I am not bought by any insurance company or corporate medicine. We provide the highest level of care. We have nurse practitioners. We have other physicians, specialists who come to our office. Please come visit me. I'm at 1316 East Calvada here in the heart of Pahrump. Thank you.